Hello.
No, teacher.
Okay. Hello. So today we will study Unit 2. Continue to study this Unit 2. Okay, look at the slide. Can you see there is and there isn't and there are, there aren't? I think it is quite similar with you. Is that right?
Yes.
Okay, maybe it is very easy. Positive. Okay, do that for me. You can
Yes.
type in the chat box. You only need to write only the answer. For example, are there?
Viết lên màn hình các cô.
Send me on the chat box because I can't see. Con thử viết lên màn hình xem cô thấy không? Hình như không thấy được ấy.
Để con vừa mới bắt đầu viết.
Okay.
Cô thấy chưa cô?
No, I can't see. Thôi con nhập vào phần chat box đi. Con điền vào đấy cũng được.
Yes, I'm finished.
Be there. There. This is okay. Extra vocabulary. Townhouse, country house, villa, steel house, apartment. Do you know all of that? Do you know all of that? Do you know all of that vocabulary?
Yes.
Townhouse, what does this mean?
Là nhà ở quê. Nhà trên thị trấn.
Country house. Country house.
Là nhà quê.
Villa.
Villa là khu biệt thự.
What about steel house?
Steel house là nhà vùng núi ạ.
What about apartment?
Chung cư ạ.
Very good. Okay. Look at the pictures of her. Cái này mình làm rồi đúng không?
Vâng.
Mình đi qua một chút để kiểm tra bài cũ thôi. Ok, bây giờ mình sẽ làm sang phần này. Okay, do that. Are these things in the room? What about number 2? Number 1, the answer is window. And number 2, tell me the answer.
Number 2 là a sofa.
Number 2. Mình đang dùng theo hàng ngang con nha.
Number 2 là a sofa cô.
Number 2, a cupboard, a shelf, and a lamp. What is your answer?
A shelf.
A lamp. A lamp. Cupboard là gì? Cupboard là gì đây? What does this
Là
mean?
cái tủ để cốc ạ.
Okay, what about a shelf? A
Là cái
shelf.
giá sách ạ.
Okay, and a lamp. Cái đèn. Cái này sẽ khác.
Cái đèn.
Okay. What about the answer number 3?
A tiger.
Are there things in the room? Oh, I understand. It means that you have to list all the things in the room. A window is in the room, a desk, a shelf, a lamp, a tiger. A tiger? A tiger là không đúng đâu nha.
Vâng.
Okay, listening. Read out loud task listening for me. Con đọc to cái đề bài và tất cả các chữ màu đỏ.
Nick's parents are describing their room and at the hotel. Listen and draw the furniture in the correct place. Fireplace, wardrobe, table, shelf, stall, sofa, bed, window và door.
Okay. So we
Skills 2. Activity 1. Nick's parents are describing their room at the hotel. Listen and draw the furniture in the correct place.
Nick's staying in the tiger room. We're staying in the bear room. There's a big bear near the door. The bear is actually a fireplace. In the far corner there is a window. The shelves are right in front of it. Next to the shelves is a big bed. There's a wardrobe next to the bed.
Oh, there are also 2 other windows in the room. In front of these windows there's a sofa, a table and 2 stools. We like the room because it's comfortable.
Okay, and this task, we need to listen and draw the furniture in the correct place. Because you don't have to, you can't see anything, so we will change the next task. Okay, this is the writing tips. How to write an email to a friend. Okay, to describe more detail, we will watch a video together. How to write an email.
Writing tips. How to
Okay. Look at this. How to write an email.
Yes.
What carefully.
In this video, you'll learn how to format an email, including parts of the email, what to capitalize, where to leave spaces and empty lines, and how to do the optional signature block at the end. Here's an example of an email that's formatted correctly. Let's look at the parts of this email. First, we have the subject. The subject is like a short title that tells your reader what your email is about. Then we have the salutation, where you're saying hello to your recipient. In the body of the email, you write your message. Then you have your closing, where you sort of say goodbye. Then you have your electronic signature, which is your first and last name. And then at the bottom, sometimes there is an optional signature block. You don't need a signature block, but many people use them, and you might also want to have one. Let's now talk about what to capitalize in your email. First, let's talk about what to capitalize in your subject. We capitalize subjects like we capitalize a book title. But what do we capitalize in book titles? We capitalize the first word, the last word, and important words. How do we know if a word in a title or an email subject line is important? Nouns, verbs, adjectives, and adverbs are important words in a title and should be capitalized. Here are some examples. People, like teacher, boy, and parent. Of course, there are many hundreds of other words that could be people. Places, 3 examples are school, city, and library. Things, like book, homework, idea. Actions, like run, ask, need, or help. Adjectives like sick, easy, great, and adverbs like not, very, and always. What about words that are not important and should not be capitalized? These include articles, conjunctions, or prepositions that are 3 letters or shorter, like these: and, but, by, for, or, in, if, out, of, off, so on, a, and the. These are examples that are used often, but of course there are many other words that are not important in titles and should not be capitalized. Now we've talked about what to capitalize in a subject. What about the salutation? In a salutation, capitalize the first word plus all nouns. Let's look at some other examples of email salutations. Here we have Dear Hiring Manager, Dear Professor Smith, Dear Board of Directors, Dear Mom and Dad, and Dear Sophia. There are 2 types of email salutations. The first 3 examples that we see here are formal salutations. At the end of a formal salutation, the punctuation you use is called a colon, or the 2 dots that you see used at the end of our first 3 examples. You need to use a formal email salutation when you're writing emails with job applications, emails to leaders in your company, school, or community, and emails to other people in higher positions. The other type of email salutation is an informal salutation, like the last two that you see here. At the end of an informal salutation, the punctuation you use is a comma. Informal salutations are used when you write to friends and family, people you see daily or often, and sometimes to teachers or professors. It depends on the culture and the relationship you have with the person, just as any email salutation does. So we've covered what to capitalize in the email subject and salutation. Now let's talk about the closing. In the closing, you capitalize only the first word. The second word in a closing should not be capitalized. Here's some examples of other email closings that are formal, professional, and will work in almost any situation. Best regards, sincerely, thank you, best, yours truly, and respectfully. Now we've reviewed capitalization, let's look at where we need to leave empty lines and spaces in your emails. First, leave an empty line after your salutation. Always leave empty lines between paragraphs. Leave one empty line before your closing and one empty line after your closing. Notice, you do not need an empty line or a comma after your electronic signature. Now let's talk about the optional signature block. The signature block contains contact information about the sender as well as information like the sender's website, YouTube channel, or other professional contact information. Here's example 1 with the name, email, website, and YouTube channel. Here's example 2. You have the person's name, phone number, position or job. Notice after the job you have the company, and between those two a comma. Finally, after that you have his mailing address at the bottom. Here we have example 3 that's very similar to example 2, except that the company name and the job or position appear on 2 different lines, so we don't need to separate them with a comma. Here we have example 4, a signature block of a university student, where you have the person's name, phone number, position, which is student, and his university. So now we've concluded our video.
Okay, so we have
Phone number, position, which is student, and his university.
The order how to write an email. So we move back to the main slide today.
Okay.
Okay, look at this. Writing tips. In the subject line, write verbally what the email is about. Đây phần chủ đề nhé, lúc nãy mình vừa xem phần chủ đề. Begin the email with a greeting. Dear, hi, hello. Okay. Read out loud from number 3 to number 5 for me.
Okay.
Read out loud.
Writing tips. How to write an email to a friend. 1. In the subject line, write bright fly and the email this about. Begin the email with us getting dear, hi, hello. The introduction is a first paragraph. We can ask about her health, thanks her for the previous email, or write the reason for email X. In the body, write a subject of the email, write each subject in the new paragraphs. The conclusion in the last paragraph is in the closing remarks. Say goodbye. Ask your friend to invite back. Sending your friends to her family X.
Okay. It is an email.
Yes.
Read the email below and correct it. Write the correct version in the space provided. Ok, bây giờ chúng mình sẽ cùng xem một cái cấu trúc bài email đúng hay sai nhé. Đây. From the sender to the receiver, subject is the content of this email. Okay, it is greeting. Hi Sylvia, okay. Remember
Okay.
that you need to go down to the next slide to present the content. Ở đây này con phải cần nhớ phải xuống vòng này. Đây, chúng mình không có viết một cục thế này nha, chúng mình sẽ xuống vòng để viết những cái ý chính. Và cuối cùng là gì? Lời chào best wishes và tên của người viết gửi.
Vâng.
Okay. Write an email to Nick. Tell him about your idea for the new room of the Crazy House Hotel. When brainstorm the vocabulary about the room. Okay. This is our task. Write an email to Nick. Tell him about your idea for the new room of the Crazy House Hotel. Chúng mình sẽ cùng viết cái email nha.
Vâng.
Nói sợ tắt đi. Oh wait, okay. I see that your background is quite noisy. What happened? Your background is quite noisy. Bên con khá là ồn ý, có việc gì vậy?
Bố con mở tivi hơi ồn để con bảo bố. Bố ơi, bố cho tivi nhỏ ơi. Rồi cô.
Okay. Để chúng mình sẽ cùng xem.
Skills.
It is the structure of the email. Okay.
Vâng.
And now you need to write an email like this.
Write.
Write an email to your ideal for the new room at the Crazy House Hotel. Chúng mình sẽ cùng để ở đây để con làm cho dễ nha. Okay, can you see the task 4? Can you see
Yes.
task 4?
Yes.
Okay, you will have 10 minutes to write an email. You can base on the example here. Con có thể dựa vào một bức thư gốc như thế này. Và con viết bức thư này nha, viết một bức thư đến Nick và nói với anh ấy về ý tưởng của bạn về căn phòng mới của khách sạn này. Con biết gì cũng được. Okay. That's
Vâng.
right. Rồi con sẽ viết nha, viết phần chặn box.
Vâng.
Nhớ là chúng mình sẽ cần phải xuống dòng. Okay, we will have 10 minutes. After you finish, I will call you. Con viết thế nào rồi? Con nên
Dạ.
viết được một đoạn rồi con lại gửi enter lên giống như cái email ấy.
Nhưng mà lần này con nhập được dấu cách rồi cô.
Ok.
I'm finished.
Con thấy có một cái đó là gì? Mình nên viết tách ra nhỉ? Đây.
Vâng.
Đúng dòng con nên cách một dòng. Ok. Thanks for your email. Now I will tell you about my house. Okay. Look at the task 4. Write an email to Nick. Nick. Ngay từ câu đề bài con đã làm sai rồi này. Viết một bức thư cho Nick và nói với anh ấy về ý tưởng của mình về một căn phòng mới. Ok. Phải là hi
Con
Nick.
tưởng
Thanks for
cơ
your...
tưởng là viết cho người bạn của mình à?
Không, bây giờ mình đang viết theo email này, người ta sẽ bảo là viết một bức thư cho Nick. Now
Vâng.
I will tell you about my house. No. Cái này con sẽ viết là kể với anh ấy về ý tưởng về cái phòng mới của mình. Thì con cần viết là now I will tell you about my new room. My new room. Ý tưởng về một căn, đây người ta đang giao đề bài cho con là viết về một bức thư về một căn phòng mới ở Crazy House Hotel. Thì bây giờ con cần phải viết là những cái gì ở trong cái phòng của cái khách sạn đấy. Ok.
Vâng.
Bây giờ con cần phải loại bỏ cái câu I live with your family and younger sister in town hall. It is narrow. Ok. Nói chung là mình có thể chấp nhận được từ cái câu there are 7 rooms. Chữ room này cần phải thêm s nhé.
Vâng.
Bởi vì đây là số nhiều. A living room, 3 bedrooms, a kitchen, 2 bathrooms. Đấy. Con cần viết thêm cái thân bài, gọi để chỉnh cái thân bài nha. Bởi vì bây giờ mình đang cần viết theo ý tưởng để về cái căn phòng ở khách sạn này mà. Ok.
Vâng.
Đoạn ở dưới này thì khá ổn rồi, còn phần thân bài cần chỉnh một chút. Okay. Now this is the final exercise. Put all the words into the correct group. Do you want to add any words to each group? Okay, so help me to read out loud all the red text in the box. Read out loud all the text in the box.
Looking back.
Read out loud all the text here. Read out loud all the text here.
Living room, attic, bed, hall, picture, villa, cupboard, apartment, chest of drawer, townhouse, bathroom, bedroom, wardrobe, sofa, still house, kitchen, dishwasher, desk, country house.
Okay, so do this. Types of building, rooms, and furniture. You need to write the answer in the chat box. For example, you will type like this. Con sẽ soạn như kia nha.
Vâng.
Okay. Let's do it. Let's do it.
Type of building là villa, apartment.
Type the type in the chat box.
Vâng.
Type of building. Okay, hurry up, hurry up.
Oh shit. Đấy là con chó gì vậy?
Á thù. Người rơi. Người rơi.
Đạt ma. Trời ơi em ơi, một con bố mẹ sao quê vào đây?
Vãi. Con rơi bay vào nhà đùa.
Đùa có mở cái gì không vậy? Cho em mở cửa đây cho nó.
Okay, I will show you the answer.
Bay vào đây chứ. Anh vampire.
The room. Look at the type of building.
Hố.
Villa,
What the fuck?
apartment,
Vừa quay đi có vài giây.
townhouse, still house, and country house. Very good. Room, living room, hall, bathroom, and the furniture. Oh, furniture. Furniture là đang thiếu một số cái nha. Okay,
Vâng.
please help me to read all the answer here. Giúp cô đọc nhanh hết nào.
Rooms, living room, hall, bathroom, bedroom, kitchen, attic. Type of building, villa, apartment, townhouse, still house, country house. Furniture, picture, cupboard, chest of drawer, wardrobe, sofa, dishwasher, desk, bed.
Okay. So this is the end of the lesson today. Thank you for joining the class. Remember to do the homework carefully. Okay. And bye-bye. See you.
Goodbye, teacher.
Bye-bye.